Good evening and welcome to Garblag Games. I am Aaron. I am your narrator. It is Wednesday. We are back. It has been a hectic few weeks in the Marvel multiverse for us. But for our characters, it has only been a few heartbeats. So before we jump back into the action, we're going to go around the horn and we're going to let everybody introduce themselves, who they're playing, tell us a little bit about their powers, a little bit about their characters. Then we're going to do a recap, and then we're going to jump into the action, which is likely going to be the finale of the New York State of Mind, the rank 3 adventure for the Cataclysm of Kang, and serve as our season 1 finale. Don't fear, we'll be back at the end of the year for season 2 to finish off the Cataclysm of Kang. So without further ado, I am going to let either Dan, introduce themselves and their character.
Okay. All right. Okay. Good evening. I'm Dan. I am playing the Lord John Mulberry II, Marquess of Needham and Dolby, Earl of Croy, Baronet of Bricey, Lieutenant in His Majesty's Royal Navy, scientist, philanthropist, and hero, Professor Kronos, here in the future on another planet, on another Earth, in another universe, in a parallel dimension, um, fighting the evil villainous powers of the Red Skull. Boom.
Excellent. Happy to have you back, Professor Kronos. Not to be outdone, let's turn our attention to our other Dan.
Hi everyone, I believe, playing, because it's been a while. No, I am playing the Eldritch Knight. He is Sir Lancelot of legend, immortal, lived for a very long time, handy with a blade, probably handier at getting smacked in the face. Tends to be his job, I think, just to stand in the way and get whacked. And yeah, here we are for another week of Marvel. I'm looking forward to it.
Fantastic. Roger, talk to us.
Hi, I'm Roger, and I'm playing Sherwood, who is Robin Hood of legend, but reborn into the 21st, well, 20th originally, and then hurled into the 21st century. And generally sits around, will shoot some stuff, and then someone will kind of whiff in his direction and he'll fall over.
Well, we'll see if somebody whiffs today. It could be interesting. And Stu, talk to us about Lodestar.
Hi, I'm Stu, and my character is Lodestar, who is an alien, a Krylorian, who was a psychic navigator on board a Krylorian naval ship, which crashed into a parallel Earth now, and I've followed the other heroes through the portal, and I am fighting the good fight against the evil Hydra, I'm guessing, so it's somewhere connection or AIM or somewhere along those lines, we think.
Absolutely. Hydra and AIM.
Yeah, all at the same time. My God. Oh dear.
There's quite the mass up against you. As everyone probably recognizes from our blank spot, Jim was unable to join us today, so the spiritual heartbeat of the Wednesday crew can't make it. However, that's not to say that Kingdom Quake will not make some appearances today, because it would not be a finale without our favorite giant, blunt alien wrecking ball. So keep your eyes peeled for the wrecking for Kingdom Quake, because he will be wrecking his way through some of our scenes. So, brief recap. Our heroes, as they mentioned, started out in World War II on Earth 56438, fighting the good fight. They were sent on a mission to deal with the time travel. They followed the time traveler through a portal that actually shifted them across the multiverse, landing them in Earth 616. But they took a brief stop in a time bubble where they were told by two other time travelers that they were integral to perhaps saving the entire multiverse, because they themselves were had no other variants across the multiverse, and as a group might have the greatest chance of thwarting a multiversal evil that was to come. They found themselves in Earth 616, dealing with the portal that spit them out into the 21st century, and where they met Nick Fury. After a few discussions with Nick Fury and She-Hulk, they were set up as a subsidiary corporation to the Fantastic Four at 4 Yancey Street and began working as heroes in New York City. Fast forward a little bit, and their old Earth, Earth 56438, and the current forces who had been the Axis powers during World War II, who transformed and revealed themselves as Hydra, have taken over that world and have begun to invade Earth 616. In an attempt to get a beachhold here, they have opened a giant portal in New York City in the convention center. Under the guise originally of the Federal Emergency Aid and Response Agency, they were able to infiltrate the planet in 2s and 3s and solidify their hold here as agents of fear. Well, our team has been fighting against their efforts ever since. Nick Fury recently dispatched them to the Baxter building that had been attacked originally by a group of armored Hydra agents, but the building's defensive artificial intelligence was able to hold it off until Arnim Zola and his crew made a landing on the roof, and they were able to temporarily disable the artificial intelligence. Nick asked Pendragon to take his stealth jet and head to the Baxter building to stop the enemy. Well, our team got to the Baxter building with some amazing flying by Lodestar. We saw a fastball special of the Eldritch Knight as he was being thrown at an attack helicopter, and he missed the attack helicopter, and he soared over the attack helicopter like a glorious wingless albatross, and he crashed into the side of the observatory on the Baxter building, slid down the wall, mostly intact. Not to be outdone, Kingdom Quake himself jumped out of the stealth aircraft in an attempt to tackle the assault helicopter in midair. He fell slightly short of the helicopter and plummeted down the side of the Baxter building, striking the ground beneath it, crashing through into some of the sub-basements, picked himself up, pulled himself out, and charged into the front of the Baxter building. The rest of the team managed to land on the roof of the Baxter building, fight off Arnim Zola, defeating him and forcing him out of his cybernetic body. They also were able to defeat the other armored Hydra agents and take prisoner the technicians who were there. At that point, the Herbie unit, which is the observatory unit, not a security unit of the Fantastic Four's robotic intelligence, approached them, offering them great thanks, recognized them as associates of the Fantastic Four through the LLC under the Fantastic Four's corporate charter, and told them that the vault in the sub-basement was under attack by other agents, and that they needed to get down there quickly while it tried to reboot the defensive artificial intelligence of the building. And that is where we left off in that moment, as the players are looking down this giant elevator shaft that will lead them straight down, trying to decide how it is they want to approach getting to the bottom without killing themselves. But right before they start to act, the Herbie unit again chimes in. Dear friends and protectors of the Baxter Building, associates of the Fantastic Four, subsidiary corporation Operation Pendragon members, your associate in the basement has driven off other enemy assets and is currently chasing them, apparently through the streets, and it does not seem like he is going to stop. The vault has not been breached. They were unable to get the information out of the computer database in time, and I am now bringing the artificial intelligence back online. Your efforts are noted and they are logged for Fantastic Four review. I appreciate your efforts on our behalf. please note, now that the artificial intelligence is coming back online, there is a priority communication from a Nick Fury for any member of Operation Pendragon. I can patch you through.
Please do.
And across the
Quake.
speakers, you hear, right, looks like you got the Baxter building under control. Good work, team. I've got some other problems. These monuments that these Hydra agents are bringing through the portal and locating the city. There's something off about them. There's some energy fields. Some of the boys at Stark Industries have some real concern about this. I need you to get over to Long Beach, the boardwalk. It looks like they're trying to put one of the monuments there. I need you to get there before they activate whatever energy field it is so we can get some sort of assessment on what the hell the purpose of these monuments are. They can't just be propaganda statues. I need you there now. I've got Quake on the monitor. Looks like he's chasing down the Taskmaster and some other goons. He not answering comms, but he looks like whatever he's doing, well, he's very invested in it. So I'm going to let him finish that off, but I need you to get to Long Beach Boardwalk.
Yeah, it's always best not to interrupt Quake when he's going for it.
He is flat out not listening at all, but by God, I love his determination. Do you have any questions?
Yes, do you happen to have a spare aircraft to get us there?
What the hell did you do to my jet?
It might still be working. I think Armanzola just shut it down rather than actually destroy any of the capabilities.
Didn't
So-
it
Well-
fall to the ground though?
Might be
And at that point-
salvageable, but not
At that
quite
point,
yet.
Herbie breaks in. He's like, I can authorize you access and operational control over the Fantasticar if you would like.
Oh, yes.
That sounds wonderful.
Righto.
Fury comes back on. That sounds good. Take the Fantastic Car. I'm sending security experts over to the Baxter building along with a couple of NYPD special soup units to help secure the Baxter building. They can get my plane back. Or let me know when you get there.
Will do.
Righto, chap.
I wasn't at all about ready to say Vox me when you get there because I've been playing too much Wrath and Glory. That was not the case at all. See the hanger on the top of the Baxter building slide open, and the four-seated Fantasticar floats up with its classic cross design. Who's going to be flying, Stu, our Lodestar, I assume?
Who's going to be flying it?
The only person who knows how to fly things.
yeah, probably. Right. All
Lodestar,
aboard,
you take the
gentlemen.
driving wheel, steering wheel,
Yeah,
driving
I
column.
will.
What is it? Is it a joystick?
A stick, probably. It's all right. I have
Or
plenty of
whatever
practice
bizarre
with joysticks.
contraption. I'm sure it'll get us there.
And as Lodestars, you get in, and your machine telepathy
Yeah, we'll
interfaces with the
connect in,
Fantastic
basically.
Car.
Yeah.
It's incredibly simple to fly. It's a very agile vehicle, so you're able to easily float up, and you lock in on Long Beach, the boardwalk on Long Beach. It's only going to be a few minute flight, and as you're heading over there, the computer on the Fantastic Car begins to give you basically a rundown on the Long Beach boardwalk. It says, Long Beach Boardwalk is one of the most popular attractions in New York City. Spanning approximately 2 miles, it offers stunning views of the ocean beaches. The boardwalk sits just outside the reach of the Atlantic Ocean and offers ample space for strolling, jogging, biking, and rollerblading. It is only a short walk from downtown Long Beach. Crowds are often heavy, and you should plan to travel accordingly. For more than a century, the boardwalk has played a central role in Long Beach and has served as a destination for New Yorkers trying to spend a nice day at the beach. Of course, that was all until Hydra decided to drop in a monument depicting a Hydra uniformed coach overseeing several young people exercising with a placard declaring, "Strength is Hydra," which is what you see as the Fantastic Car begins to bank and come around. Furthermore, you see 2 helicopters who have landed with Hydra markings on the side. and Hydra soldiers and AIM technicians on the ground. However, all is not well because a massive crowd of extremely angry New York citizens are attacking the Hydra agents and AIM technicians. One of the helicopters is on fire already. The other is being rocked by the crowd as the Hydra agents try to push back against the crowd. They're currently using non-lethal means, but the crowd themselves are not necessarily feeling so constrained, using broken bottles, rocks, knives, machetes, and small arms fire, screaming and yelling and ranting. This is our city. None of you bastards can have it. Take a fucking statue and shove it where the sun don't shine. Most of the Hydra agents have pulled back in, and right as you are landing the Fantastic Car, this shimmering field pops up. Most of the Hydra agents are catching their breath, tending to wounds on the other side of this force field as you see the New Yorkers slamming up against it. However, pockets of these Hydra agents and AIM technicians have not managed to breach the field, and they're still outside, surrounded by this angry mob who are obviously looking to take back their city through bloodshed and mayhem. What would you like to do?
They should count themselves lucky they're not in Glasgow.
I was just going to say, it kind of reminds me of the medieval era when they were hunting down witches. They were never actually witches.
Oh, it actually remarkably does. Good observation.
Right, well, I say we leave them to the mob. I think what we need is behind that force field.
Let's find somewhere to land. Can we get? Well, can we analyze the force field? Can the computer analyze what it's?
Yeah,
what
give it a
it's
shot.
made
Give
of?
me a logic check and see what you get.
Okay.
A 20. Okay, that's pretty good. The Fantastic Car is not able to penetrate the energy signature of the force field. It's whatever they're using, whatever kind of multi-phasic shifting energy field, it just is not registerable. I mean, there are elements of it that meet standard electromagnetic spectrum resonance patterns, but there are also elements that don't, and you can't see a way to breach it using our current technology. However, somebody or anybody wants to give me vigilance checks, I might be able to tell you more information about what you see.
From. See if we can work out the origin.
Okay. Well, the Eldritch Knight, one of the things you notice, I mean, not the Eldritch Knight, sorry, Sherwood, as you're looking down, you immediately see a couple of the Hydra agents slip through the force field with no problem. You see the New Yorker citizens are banging up against it. Two of the Hydra guys slip right through.
Do I suspect they've got like a device or something on them that lets them pass through?
That would be a reasonable assumption to make, yes.
I believe the Hydra agents actually have some kind of device on them which allows them to move through.
You mean
So
like one of those electronic collars that lets animals through the flappy flap things?
Sure, yes, why not?
Yes, I saw those in the TV commercial the other day.
So you see those scumbags down there, I'll say, gesturing to a group of Hydra agents that are being mobbed by angry New Yorkers. If we could perhaps liberate them of their devices, we might be able to just walk through.
That works. I was going to suggest old Kronos blimped in there, but that's probably a better tactic.
We don't know whether the field might affect.
Yeah, so I was going to say the same thing.
Hopefully they recognize us, because I don't want to be mistaken for one of those Hydra goons. I don't want to be.
I don't think they're going to mistake you for one of those with your hood and your arrows and your bow, really.
Well, I mean, the Hydra have their fair share of unusual looking chaps themselves, so let's hope not. I'm sure your average New Yorker can tell the difference between a Brit and a Hydra agent.
I suspect they will at least be able to recognize Robin Hood when they see him.
If
they
he exists here.
I don't know. They're not as cultured.
They might have made a movie about it. Let's hope they did.
Yeah, exactly. There may be 1 or 2 movies about him.
And as you debate the existence of Robin Hood and Earth 616, the fantastic car, you're bringing it in for a landing. You do see the New Yorkers pull away. Obviously, they recognize the fantastic car. As the 4 of you bring it in for a landing, you hear the screams and cries of the Hydra agents and the AIM technicians.
Can I jump out while it's still landing? Because I want to do a superhero landing because it looks cool.
Give me an agility. Let's see how cool it looks, and then you can describe what it looks like based on what you roll.
Oh, please don't cock this up.
So it's non-combat roll.
17.
Yeah. Describe it. It's pretty damn cool.
So the door opens. I backflip out of the car and land in the traditional like superhero assassin type pose. You know, hood down, and then slowly get up with a random explosion somewhere in the background that I'm not facing.
You see a guy there. He's got a kind of a wife beater on and some jeans and a trucker's cap. He's holding a Pabst Blue Ribbon, and he's like, "Not bad, not bad. You got what it takes. You're gonna make it here, kid." That was. Did you guys see that? Did you see that? No, let me put my beer down. I like it. You're those new guys. You're Pendragon, right? We saw you on the news.
I love all this. Why was all this going on? Lars is just like shaking his head. He's just like, what a waste of energy. And he just kind of stepped out of the door next to him and goes, see, what was that all about?
And you'll see it on YouTube later.
What is this YouTube you speak of?
You'll find out.
Okay.
The screams and cries of the Hydra guys are getting fainter and quieter.
Is that because they're being brutally murdered?
As they're being brutally murdered.
Oh, that's unfortunate. I believe that's your signal. I'll say to the Eldritch Knight.
Citizens, we're not going to stop you from doing what you're doing. We just need some devices off them so we can sneak inside that bubble and finish off the rest of them. Would you mind if we liberate that and then you can continue with your maiming and your destroying and whatever it is you're doing here?
Okay. So since you're not trying to stop them from it, some of them just grunt and they kind of toss a couple of unconscious and or maybe dead bodies towards you. You do see one guy beating, one AIM technician beating on the side of the force field, quietly begging somebody to help him.
I will step in.
Some of the members of the crowd start to notice him, but for some reason he can't pass through.
Perhaps grab him so we can identify what he doesn't have that these ones do.
All right, you see some members of the crowd of this mob moving towards him with, broken bottles and.
Can I put a telekinetic barrier up between him and the crowd?
I love it. Go ahead and roll your telekinetic barrier.
Okay. Let's see. So telekinetic barrier, it's 5 focus, and I can make a barrier that covers up to 2 spaces wide and high per rank.
Yeah, so you can easily wall this guy off from the crowd without a problem.
That's what I'm going to try and do then. So I spend the focus. And we have a barrier. Now, if there's anyone that's sort of you're not quite sure which side of the barrier they're on, then they can check versus their agility to decide which one they want to jump on.
Yeah, so it's just there's nobody's really that close to this guy yet, so you'll be able to place the barrier before.
So I'll place that basically around this AIM chap so that nobody can get to him, apart from me.
So go ahead, and the barrier pops up, and a few of the crowd members bounce off of it. And then, they just look irritated, but then they turn around and move back towards the other Hydra agents and towards the helicopters, both of which are now burning, as they scream slogans about the Big Apple. And this one individual, he's basically just now crouched down against the wall. Like I said, his uniform's been torn. He's just crying. I mean, just shivering in fear as he sees the rest of his team members being beaten to death not a few feet away.
Professor, if you want to collect him, I can hold the crowd off for a little bit anyway. I say with my eyes glowing bright yellow.
Like Eldritch Knight, like kind of leans down to everyone. Is like, be careful. We don't want to anger the mob.
Can I, while they're doing that, can I try and search one of the bodies or unconscious people, whomever it may be, see if I can
they're
find
bodies.
a device?
Yeah, they're definitely, I would say, bodies at this point. Yeah, give me a vigilance check. Non-combat vigilance check.
16.
16. Okay, so you're looking at all of these uniforms. They're bloody, they're beaten. The one thing that everyone seems to have on their uniforms is this elaborate Hydra clasp on their jacket. And it's when you're looking at it, you can hear that it's giving off a slight hum. It has it's slightly warmer than ambient temperature, so you believe it's a piece of technology. The rest of their uniforms just kind of look like standard kit, and nobody else. I mean, some of them have different pieces of equipment. Obviously, some people have some communications equipment. Some people have some standard weapons, but the only thing they all seem to have on them is this clasp.
Yeah, I'll take one off and then wait for someone that understands a bit more about technology than I do to have a look.
Um,
While
the
that's going
crowd-
on, can I see
Mhm.
where the force field is being generated from on the inside of this? Like the bubble that's up,
It's-
where everybody's inside it.
give me a vigilance check. This is going to be a difficulty 20.
It's a
You
Marvel
gotta get
17.
20. Marvel 17. With a Marvel, I'm gonna give you some information, but you didn't really get enough. So you don't actually see any equipment that you think would be powerful enough to generate this force field. I mean, they didn't like set up consoles around it or anything. So the only thing you can think is that the force field itself is being generated from that the monument itself must actually be a piece of technology that is generating the force field.
Sherwood, stick that clip on one of your arrows and shoot it through. See if it goes through.
How many of these devices do we have before I try and launch one through?
Give me
Yes, because I would like to look at one.
roll a d6 for me. See how many survived the absolute demolishing of these of this squad.
5. We've got a
5.
spare one.
Okay, so you got 5 in total.
Okay, in which case, yeah, I'll clip onto an arrow.
Mhm.
I will pick a random Hydra person I can see on the other side
Okay,
and
okay.
shoot him with it.
Give me an agility attack.
I need to do something as well.
That's all right. You can have mine if you like.
17. Okay, so the arrow flies right through and strikes one of these aim technicians in the chest, and he grabs the arrow. He looks up. There's just confused look on his face.
I'm not
And then
quite sure the damage is calculating right because it hasn't changed between accuracy 2 and accuracy 3.
Okay. Well, it should be. You got
think
a
it should be
3 on the
times-
dice.
Should be times 5 at this point in time for you if you've got accuracy
Yeah.
2.
Accuracy 3.
So
You got accuracy 3.
You can go into the little cog at the top and change the actual damage thing yourself if it's not done it for you already.
Yeah, you can add another multiplier in as a bonus.
Yeah, if it's not right, check it. But regardless, that's enough anyway. So while you're taking a look at that, we see this aim technician just kind of slump to the ground and then fold over the arrow, apparently dead.
Yeah.
And you see this the guy that you've so Kronos, what were you gonna do?
It's not sitting right with me. These I know it's just a mob and they're crooks, but it's not sitting right with me, and I want to do a wibbly wobbly timey-wimey time change thing.
I love it.
I don't want to significantly change events as they were. I just want to jump back far enough so that the police can be there when the mob kicks off.
Okay, so you want to jump back to when the Fantastic Four takes off from the Baxter building. and notify the police that they need to be on site to control a mob.
Yeah, so the crooks, so
That's
the
the
crooks
assumption that
don't
the
get
cops
killed.
aren't just going to shoot them as well.
Yeah, but then at least it's legal. If that
it
makes
doesn't make it legal.
No, you
Nothing about
know
this situation is legal at this moment in time, Professor
No, it
Kronos.
just- But you know what I mean.
Yep. Okay, so talk to
at
us
least
about.
it's
at
got
least form
mob
a queue to
mentality.
beat these guys
Yeah,
to death. Let's keep
yeah,
this civilized.
Let's
So
get
let's-
the police involved.
Let's tell everybody about your time travel, how that works, and then
Okay,
we'll play that scene out.
so Professor Kronos will temporarily disappear behind a shimmering pattern of 1970s weird, wobbly, multicolored lines. And to the naked eye will probably return immediately after. However, he will step back in time to just not he doesn't want them to interfere with the events of this barrier coming up or the statue going there or anything like that. He just wants to make sure he'll go back in time. He's got a communications device, so he will summon the assistance of the police just prior to just prior to the mob kind of getting really riled up against these AIM and
The bad guys.
yes, the bad guys, and just so that the police are there to detain them and arrest them if possible. And if it doesn't work, that's fine. At least I tried. But I don't, because it's also the blood is also on the hands of the mob as well, and guarantee you, 6 months down the line or whatever, those people are going to be feeling bad about what they do. And do you know what I mean?
I like
They
it. So
they shouldn't have that on their conscience as well. So let's get the police there, and then I'll step
so
back.
we go, and Professor Kronos steps back into the past. You're on the roof of the Baxter Building, right after the helicar, Fantastic Four helicar took off, and Herbie's standing next to you. Professor Kronos, do you need assistance?
I do. I need police and emergency vehicles to be summoned to said map coordinates, please, old chum. And I would like first aid and medical services there also. Please advise the police that there is a mob brewing.
Absolutely,
They need to
sir.
do whatever they need to do.
Long Beach Boardwalk, I will make sure that the police are dispatched immediately.
Thank
Have
you.
a pleasant day. And then,
Thank you, you weird robot thing. And then I'll teleport back.
As Professor Kronos disappears and then reappears, you reappear to a slightly different scene. You see the force field is still up. You saw Sherwood just fire an arrow through the force field with a badge on it. But instead of striking an AIM technician, it strikes the monument, proving that it can penetrate the barrier. You see around you, the police are here and have separated out the crowd and have taken into custody the Hydra agents and AIM technicians who could not get through the barrier in time. All the rest of you feel like something is slightly off, but you still have this one technician on the ground next to you. His uniform has been torn. You still have these other Hydra agents, and you still have the remaining 4 badges that were not destroyed when the crowd was attacking these guys initially before the police got here. One of the helicopters is still on fire. The other is not. Professor Kronos, costs you 1 karma point to do that. By the way, everybody's karma had reset prior to this session, so for those watching and those playing. However, I will tell you that if Professor Kronos had not done that, you would have lost all of your karma points, and you would have been basically sliding into villainy, and it would have been so much harder for you guys to do anything after this. So it was really kind of a good thing to do.
That we should be villains for the fact that we've allowed the mob to continue their mobbing. You know, these are bad guys.
I hear what you're saying, and the Punisher would agree with you, but Captain America wouldn't. So you got to kind of figure out where
Is
are you
Captain
on the
America
spectrum?
here right now saving everybody's ass?
No, he
he's
got
not.
killed, didn't he?
Yeah.
No, he's
Our one did, I think.
your Captain America got killed. But so that's what happened. You guys, you've got this one guy in the torn uniform, and he is groveling at your feet. The police have taken the rest of them. They are taking them into custody. They gave you all of these badges, and you have just verified that that the badge can pass between outside in the force field. Once that arrow flies through, you see all of the Hydra agents, the armored Hydra agents that did make it through, and the AIM technicians. All of their weapons come up, so they look like they are now. They understand that they may actually have to fight in this scenario.
Right. First off, you said we noticed that things had changed. How much did we notice? Is it like a feeling in the back of our mind, or is it?
Yeah, it's just like it's like deja vu. You're like, you know what? Just that kind of gut feeling, like this doesn't feel quite right. Now, all of you have been around Professor Kronos long enough to know the feeling.
Well, on this occasion, the Eldritch Knight probably himself doesn't feel any different, but a voice appears in his head, as it always does, and simply says, he changed the timeline again. And I'm like, did he? Yeah, that helicopter wasn't on fire earlier. Oh, was on fire earlier. I was like, oh. Kronos messing with the timeline again. And like Eldritch Knight helmet kind of turns to Kronos, and you could tell Kronos, like, while you can't see his face because it's within the helmet at the moment, you could tell he's shooting you a look. Stop messing around with time. Of course, nobody else heard that voice in his head, except for potentially sometimes, depending on how much Lodestar's listening on everybody, she might occasionally hear the voice.
Yeah.
It depends on how tuned into Lance she is, but nobody else hears that voice. But while Lance doesn't know what's happened, someone's told him what's happened. Someone more attuned to the changings of the ways of the universe.
That's right. And Lance, as Morgan Le Fay tells that to you in your mind, you just kind of hear her chuckle, almost as if in regret, almost as if she was hoping it had played out the original way, because that might have brought you closer to her.
Anyway, I clip the badge on, and I start walking towards the barrier.
Yeah, look at you. I can't read minds.
The emergency services and police are like, sir, could you just hold for a minute while we pull our forces back? They've got artillery and weaponry there that there's no way we can stand against. I just like to pull the crowd back before you breach.
I'm going to go right up to the barrier. I'm going to just be like, right, chaps, now I can come inside and it's going to get messy. Some of you are going to get hurt, or you can all lay down your weapons, surrender, and live another day. It's entirely up to you.
Give me an ego check. I'm just going to put it out there. You've got to get a fantastic success on this, because they're behind a force field and they outnumber you like 10-1, and they've got some heavy firepower.
It's all right. Just try again after you chop a few in half.
So they just look at you. They're shaking their heads like that's not going to happen. And the one on the ground, he's like, oh, but he goes, whatever you do, be careful around the monument. And he's talking to you, Lodestar, because you're the one that has this field around him.
Yeah. Okay.
You got to be careful.
I want to mess with the monument.
The Eldritch Knight will step through the barrier.
How heavy does the monument look?
Oh, you beat it.
It's a giant statue. I mean,
right.
It's a very large statue. He's like, and he's pulling at you. He's like, you don't understand. If that statue goes unstable, it's basically like a 50 kiloton nuclear device. You're going to destroy half of New York City when that thing goes.
Can I detect where this voice is coming from? Or...
It's the kid. It's this kid in this torn uniform. That's
right.
Sorry,
the AIM. Right.
Yeah.
I see. So what is it actually doing?
He goes. Hey, I mean, when the monument's up and running, when all of the monuments up and running, the force fields are going to link with the monument at the convention center, and it's basically going to put an impenetrable globe around New York City, and that way it'll serve as a beachhead for the rest of the forces to come
So
through.
then you can make a permanent link.
Yeah. But I mean,
right.
the energy in these force fields is, I mean, that's my job, is to keep these things balanced. And
Do you know what I'm going to
disrupt
do?
this,
I'm gonna activate one of my powers. It won't be anything particular. It'll be the telepathic link, just so that my eyes start to glow, and I'm going to look him right in the eyes, and I'm going to say, "I am going to probe your mind until it turns to jelly, unless you tell me how to disassemble that statue or make it so that it will not work any longer."
give me a non-combat ego check. Let's see how
My ego
terrifying
is
you are.
poor. Can I use my logic in place of my ego?
You can't, because you're really appealing to his fear. However, I will give you an edge on it, because this is a terrifying situation, and legitimately, this guy's probably pretty concerned for his life.
I'm probably going to have to use some karma on this one.
12, no, you're good. Well, you got an edge, so you can re-roll the 2 if you want.
Yeah, I think we may as well.
Oh yeah, 16. You're good. You're good.
Excellent.
He's like, don't turn my mind to jelly. He goes, I don't even want to be here. He goes, you don't understand. We're conscripted. We got no choice. They got our families held over there. None of us want to be here. We were told we were going to come through here and take this world, or they were going to kill our families. It's horrible over there. Don't turn my mind to jelly. I don't know how to disassemble it. It's Arnim Zola and Baron Zemo. They're the only ones with the specs. We just know how to balance the field. And he starts to urinate down his leg. He's like, please don't turn my brain to jelly.
I feel really bad. That Lodestar is now feeling really bad.
I can imagine she's like, I'm really sorry.
I'm not. It's okay. Calm down. I'm not going to turn your brain.
Wait, hold on. So,
are there any like portals? You know, the things they've been coming through on the other side of the force field.
Are you asking this guy, or are you?
No, I'm asking you. Can I see any?
No,
I'd imagine it'd be kind of big and obvious.
Yeah.
All right.
You cannot see any kind of temporal or spatial distortions.
Is there any kind of force field? Portal generator that is how you arrive from the other world to here, on the other side of that barrier?
No. Then there's only the one main portal in the convention center. That's how we all came through. I mean, they sent like true believers in small groups through over the last couple years to kind of set everything up. But no, the main portal is in the convention center. That's how the rest of us all got through here. That's how the monuments get through. That's how everything gets through.
That's where we need to be, basically.
Yeah, we need to shove that monument back through that portal.
Yeah. Yes, possibly. Although that might kill a lot of innocent people.
I'm sure someone the other end. Perhaps we can send some of the people to balance it through with them.
And at that point, you hear Fury come over the line. I want to report what's going on there in Long Beach.
Apparently, the large monuments will detonate if not controlled correctly with the force of a 50 megaton nuclear warhead.
And the only people who know are Baron Zemo and
Arnim Zola. Also, the force fields that are in effect can be breached using devices that look like, and I'll describe whatever the device looks like, which are pinned to the uniforms of the Hydra agents. If you obtain any of them, I would suggest you keep hold of them because they could prove very useful in the future.
Yeah, we've got some other reports coming in from some of the other teams on the monuments. They're getting similar kinds of information. Listen, fall back. Come back to Yancey Street. We need to discuss plan.
I'm going to turn to the police team. Do you have any of that gas that makes people sleep or makes them cry or whatever you call it?
Tear gas.
Is that what it's called, Sherwood?
Yes.
Do you have any, officers?
Well, no.
No? Oh. Well, that.
I don't believe that a regular police officer would carry such a thing with him.
No.
I'm
Yeah,
sure
from
they
what
would
you can
have
tell
some
from
at
the
some
loadout,
stations.
they've got kind of standard kit. So, and as they fall back, they're like, I mean, we can get some out here to you if you need it, but 15 minutes.
I have a cunning plan. Kronos, you're a smart chap.
Yes,
Using
I
bits and
am.
pieces, can you MacGyver us up some cans of exploding sleepy gas?
Actually, I was kind of wondering if I could teleport that monolith, the monument.
It would be good if we could get them all to the convention center and then fling them back through with some of the people that know how they work.
I'm sure there's plenty of people on the other side of the barrier who know the portal who know how they work.
So you want to build a very large smoke bomb?
No, get the sleepy bomb. Like,
The sleepy gas. Okay.
Yes.
That could be doable. Well, you want to then set it off on the other side of the force field, oh boy.
Yes. Great minds think alike, as they say.
Okay.
All right, so a few minutes pass, and a SWAT team pulls up, and they've got some riot gear, and they've got some CS gas and the like. They're like, we were told to hand this stuff over to you.
And I basically get Professor Konos to build a giant gas bomb.
We are supposed to return to Yancey Street, just to remember that, chaps.
And
Don't worry,
as
we will.
Okay, I'll be quick.
as Kronos is building this, you guys start to see flying in from the direction of the convention center. Looks like Hydra reinforcements. You assume that the people inside the force field have called for assistance.
Bugger.
Yeah, that's not going to work. We need to go.
Officer, you might want to get everybody out here. Enemy reinforcements are inbound, and apparently we're not staying to fight them.
You already see the officer's back as he's like, "Oh yeah, we're pulling back."
We'll be seeing you soon, Hydra agents. We'll be seeing you soon.
Do you take this one guy with you? I'm assuming, or
Yeah,
do you turn him over to the
we'll
police?
Yeah,
or-
He could be
we'll
what he
take him.
knows could be useful.
Yes, we
Stuff
should
him in
probably
the
give
back.
him to Mr. Fury.
Stuff
like
him in the back. What are the other
So-
Hydra agents doing that are behind the barriers?
They appear to be doing work. I mean, the guards have set up a guard rotation. The armored Hydra agents have done that. They're setting up some defensive positions in case you decided to breach. But it looks like the AIM technicians are probably doing what this other guy said. It looked like they're probably balancing the force field and prepping it so that when all the other monuments come online, they can link.
Are there any computer systems or anything
You don't
inside that I can
I-
see?
Yeah, you don't like I said, from what you guys observed, there doesn't appear to be any like exterior control panels or anything. The monument itself seems to be
Seems
the
to
piece
be
of
the- yeah.
technology.
Okay.
However, I mean, you could try to link with it. You don't know what the risks are, but
Mm,
you'd have to be on the other side of the force field for that.
Right. And the force field is a dome rather than a
Correct.
cone or a cylinder or anything silly like
That is correct.
Can anyone dig through the earth?
I believe that would be Quake, and he's not here right now.
Ah,
I mean,
damn it.
given a shovel, we could, but it wouldn't get that far.
Yeah, I
No,
think we should go and come back.
Well, we should return to Yancey Street to
Let's go to Yancey Street and
see what
Okay.
Mr. Fury wants.
All right. And
Okay, so you take the Fantastic Car back with your prisoner, and you see others who are converging, and you see some tents, some GP medium tents have been set up. Looks like there's a mess hall. Looks like there's like basically a MASH unit. You see some police officers are being triaged. You see other heroes around. You see the Falcon. You see Daredevil. You see Luke Cage and Iron Fist coming in from different areas. You see Kingdom Quake is marching in, carrying the van, and he's got Taskmaster in one hand unconscious and the van in the other hand. And as you converge back around, you see Nick Fury come out of the main entrance to 4 Yancey Street, and he's got some people in lab coats with him, and you see one of them's got Stark across the breast, another one's got Pym across the breast. And he comes out, and people are handing him some of these badges and everything, and he's handing him off. And he's calling all the heroes and some National Guard members in, some U.S. Special Forces members. All of you form this kind of giant horseshoe around him as he stands on top of these steps. He's like, listen, y'all have done great work. We've got a better understanding now about what these monuments are, what they're meant to be, and how dangerous they are. We've got to take some time to figure out how to handle it. So get some rest and wait here.
We must not wait too long. They intend to link all the fields together to seal off New York City so they can bring people through en masse.
We're aware of the plan. We've got a couple of days before they're able to do it. They're missing 5 more monuments that haven't even come through the portal yet. So based on information we get from interrogations, it's all linked up. We have a little bit of time to get a better understanding of their technology. And everybody out there listening, and including my players, I'm sorry, I do have a bit of a head cold, and obviously I am fighting it, but we're going to marshal through. Unless I completely lose my voice, and at that point, I am a shitty mime, and we will just have to suffer. So Nick Fury says, basically, he's like, listen, take some time, regroup. We're going to be splitting into teams. He goes, I want my technicians to have an opportunity to look at this technology. We have a little bit of time. We don't want to rush this. We don't want to blow up part of New York because we're in too much of a hurry to figure this out. So you have a little bit of time. Nobody's really injured, so you don't really need to worry about recovery. But is there something you guys want to do or discuss? Please feel free to elaborate while I drink some water.
Okay, well, I think firstly, chaps, this is a serious situation. We better put the kettle on.
Read my mind, oh boy.
Agreed. Yes, we need a proper cup of tea.
A proper cup of tea, none of that creamer with the tea.
No,
bag.
we were able
Oh.
to. Didn't we get some?
We did. We
specialist
and
tea.
No,
Yes.
no,
I will
absolutely. But
open up one of my
Yeah,
webbing
no,
pouches and pull out
Fantastic. We
tea.
can't have any of that
Right,
local
so
rubbish.
We'll all sit around and discuss the problem over a good cup of
Cup
tea.
of tea.
I can imagine we've actually got like a proper China teapot, like
Yeah.
like proper,
Of course,
doing
of course.
it British gentlemanly style, as we would have done in World War II. And
Just
we'll pour it
imagine
out
all
to-
these other superheroes kind of watching God going, what the are they doing? Do you know?
Yeah, everyone looking at computers and we're all sat around in a circle
To-
drinking tea,
tea,
discussing the problem.
discussing the problem.
Personally, I feel like we've been kind of kicked in the backside today. Every time I feel like we're getting somewhere, we always have to be pulled away to retreat, or I'm not used to that. I'm used to
Well,
standing.
It does seem like the one we really need to hit is the convention center. If that's where they're coming in, surely that should be where we
Can't
have
hit-
to push them back.
You can't hit their base of operations without overwhelming force.
Well, I mean,
we could
We
do
might
a
be able
ta-
to sneak in. with
Yes,
this-
maybe some sort of tactical or strategic.
You've seen
look-
Quake, right? Sneaking is not something we can do.
Well, look around though. I mean, look at all the chaps we have here. I mean, that Daredevil fellow, he seemed like a good sort. And I mean, I have no idea who they are, but you know, they look capable. And then there's those military chaps over there. You know, they look like they know what they're doing.
I think we should be out there doing guerrilla style warfare right now to slow them down.
And at that, Fury actually comes over and he's like, I agree with you. I don't want you to hit the monuments yet because we don't know how dangerous it is. But I want you and all other capable heroes, spec ops guys, SWAT teams, get on the streets, disrupt their supply chain, disrupt their logistics. If you see one of them out on the street, take them out. Capture, preferably. We need information. Bring them back in. I think we're going to have 24.
Oh.
The lab guys are telling me to deconstruct this technology is going to take them a day.
So what we need to do is construct effectively the old long range desert group, don't we?
Ah,
So you
It's
want
the
us to hit their
Recce
airfields?
That's what we are. Yeah.
Lodestar, you're taking me back now.
In fact,
to,
actually,
So
hitting
land.
their
I think we ought
specifically
to.
hitting their airfields isn't the worst idea. I'd imagine they only have limited air assets.
Well, yes. Where do the helicopters land and take off from?
Do we know
Maybe
that,
should-
Mr. Fury?
he's like, well, I'll give you all the information we have. So for the next day, that's what you guys do. You go out and you execute these small strategic strikes. So I want each one of you to briefly tell me where you go and what you do. It's all narrative. There's no roles. Successful missions. So let's start with the Eldritch Knight. Eldritch Knight, where did you find yourself, and what successfully did you do to thwart Hydra?
The Eldritch Knight, it does the opposite of everybody else. Whereas everyone's sneaking, the Eldritch Knight is purposely drawing attention to his actions. He's engaging every big possible fight he can engage. He's pulling Hydra assets away from their sort of defensive, smaller positions. Basically, where there is somebody who wants to go do something, the Eldritch Knight is nearby, causing trouble, beating up some Hydra guys, taking the knocks, and then moving on to the next site. So that basically the Hydra are concentrated on him, while everybody else can go in their small teams and go into all these other little places and do their specialist jobs. Because apart from the fact that he is close to a blunt instrument, he doesn't know technology, so he can't be involved in it. So his only real thing he can do is distract the enemy and make their life a misery. So small groups of technicians are going out. He's not obviously killing anybody, because we don't do that. We're heroes. But he's attacking them, and then he's drawing in their armored agents and whatnot. And yeah, so that's kind of what he's doing. He's being a big old distraction and making every Hydra person he comes across life a bit of a misery.
I see this scene of the Eldritch Knight on the back of this armored Hydra agent as he's flying down the street with your blade against his throat, pulling his helmet up as you crash through one of these Hydra tanks, absolutely destroying it, knocking the armored Hydra agent unconscious. You roll out the backside as the explosion comes up behind you, and you stroll down the street towards the next group of Hydra agents. Well, while the Eldritch Knight is on one part of the city, wreaking havoc, where do we see Professor Kronos, and what is he doing for the war effort?
I'm wondering if Professor Kronos is helping in the lab with the other scientists and showing these young whippersnappers how it's done. In what better ways we can understand this technology and how we might be able to use it when the time comes. Maybe we can develop some sort of jamming technology, or an ability to kind of scan or sense where it is. So basically just working with the lab boys, and
I love it.
you know,
So I think we see Professor Kronos using his understanding of temporal mechanics. The guys in the lab, these PIM technicians and Stark scientists, they figured out that a properly shaped and controlled EMP at the base of these monuments will disrupt them and take the force fields down. But they can't figure out the multiphasic attenuation of it until you bring your understanding of temporal mechanics into it. And then they're able to literally shift this electromagnetic energy through the fourth dimension. And that's how you're actually going to be able to penetrate through, actually allow this electromagnetic pulse wave to penetrate through the statues using your temporal mechanics. So you're there helping them tweak these EMP bombs that are going to be
cool.
used.
If I'm part of the sort of EMP bomb making process, how heavy are the bombs? Like portable?
They're portable, yeah. They're like
Excellent.
10 pounds. I mean, they're not
That
that.
will do nicely.
You're able to actually help them refine the energy source using temporal mechanics, so that the energy signature, the required element within the device that has to actuate, is fairly small because of the what you've done to modify the device. So
Jolly good. Well done, chaps.
We pan out of the labs and pan away from Professor Kronos, and we go across the city and we find Sherwood. What's Sherwood doing?
So Sherwood is doing what Sherwood did during the war. So he's finding high-value targets and bringing them in. So he'll, sneak up, find very senior officers or scientists, and basically kidnap them, sneak them away before anyone knows he's even there, and bring them back to HQ for interrogation.
Wonderful. And that's exactly what we see. We see actually you see the replacement for Commander Siobhan is out doing an inspection on the monuments and made the mistake of moving outside of the force field to check the perimeter. And no one sees Sherwood move in. Sherwood's a shadow. And then they blink and they look back and the commander is gone. And then the next time we see the commander, they are being sweated under a light by Nick Fury, who is asking them about the dispersion and divisions of their military forces and their command and control elements. Sherwood helped to identify the fact that Baron Zemo is actually on site within the convention center overseeing this invasion himself. So with that information, some of the battle plans change. Now the convention center and the portal room, maybe they don't want to destroy it. Maybe they want to take it and take Baron Zemo so they can get a better understanding of why Earth 56438 invaded in the first place. So because of Sherwood's efforts, the battle plans shift. We look further across the city and we find Lodestar. What's Lodestar doing?
Well, Lodestar's got the perfect sort of combination of powers and effects that she is going to take him literally and start disrupting supply chains. Basically, I can manipulate I can telekinetically stop trucks, drive them into walls, tip them over, jeeps, cars, everything. Or I can take control of them. So I can use a variety of techniques. I'll be taking control of some. I can cloak myself in the shadows and just leap out of nowhere, or I can be on the top of a building, levitating up and then hide myself with a cloak. And then when the helicopter comes past, I can crash it, or I can drop it to the floor. I can stop the rotors from turning and then take it down to the ground. I could even telepathically link with some of the pilots and the drivers to distract them so that they can't drive properly. So there's a whole range of different techniques she's got there just to disrupt the supply lines completely. And then she can disappear and fly off to another area within a few minutes and do it again with another set of trucks or jeeps, and then trying to avoid the obvious men in the power armor that will obviously try and come and hunt her down. But again, she can take them out probably with the same sort of techniques, disrupting their communications and taking down their computers.
I like it. So I think what we see ourselves inside the Hydra command and communication bunker. And you see this frustrated logistician there going, I cannot, we've lost another convoy. I don't know, all the trucks just flipped. Well, how could that? We just lost that whole helicopter squadron. All the rotors stopped and they fell out of the sky. What the hell is going on out there? And you just see the frustration, tears streaming down this guy's face in frustration as he bangs his fists. How many? What the hell? What is going on this planet? And we fade away from that. And the day passes, and a day and a half passes, and we find ourselves back outside of 4 Yancey Street. It's late in the evening. The sun is setting, and we find giant floodlights are illuminating the area, and all of the heroes and all of the special forces and the police are there. And Operation Pendragon is there, and Nick Fury comes down. He's like, thanks to the efforts of all of you heroes, we've been able to disrupt Hydra's plan significantly. And we now have a battle plan. Our technicians, with the aid of Professor Kronos, have developed these EM pulse weapons. We are going to assault each of the monuments independently to draw forces away from the convention center. While the forces are pulled away, that is when members of Operation Pendragon are going to go after the monument at the convention center and take it offline. Once you take it offline, you should be able to enter the convention center. We need you to seize the portal room, take control of the machinery, and if possible, take Baron Zemo prisoner. Do not destroy the portal equipment. Do not kill Zemo if you can avoid it. We need to understand why they are coming through this portal. If we destroy the technology, they could just build a new portal. And they may not be stupid enough to build it in New York next time. They might pick Capixi or the outback of Australia, someplace where we won't know they are until it's too late to stop them. So we need to control this technology. We need to understand it. We need to figure its signature out so we can ensure it doesn't happen again. And if we can capture their leaders, we need to know why the hell they're coming through here in the first place. It's obvious based on our interrogations that these foot soldiers have no desire to be here. So this is being driven from above. None of their junior soldiers or technicians have the vaguest idea why they've invaded. Their world, though it sounds like a horrific authoritarian crap fest, is not dying. It doesn't appear to be any issues with it that they are aware of. So there has to be something else driving this invasion. We have devices for everyone that will allow you to pierce the force fields. We've got uniforms if you choose to want to go in covertly to hit these monuments. It's important that we get the power down on these monuments as quickly as possible. We've got reserve forces, and you're looking, he's got 75th Rangers, he's got some of the special forces groups. As soon as the fields are down, we will hit each monument with overwhelming force and take control of the monuments at that point. So it's going to be a leapfrog effect, but we're going to wait to hit the convention center until the other task forces have struck against their monuments. We need to distract and pull the main forces away from the convention center. Once Pendragon has taken down the monument at the convention center, that is your point of entry. At that point, you must hit the convention center. Do not wait for reinforcement. Kingdom Quake is going to be leading the reinforcement to take and hold that monument. So he will have your back. You need to get into the machinery, take it, lock it down, and find Zemo if possible. Are there any questions?
When do we start?
We start now. Gear up. You're going to hit it at 2 a.m. Just like everywhere, somebody's got to sleep. So we're going to hit it in the middle of the night.
Him saying gear up, the armor appears.
And you
Time to
see
go.
these different teams forming. Like you see Luke Cage and Iron Fist taking some Rangers, and they take one of the EMP bombs. You'd see Miles Morales and Daredevil taking another group, and these heroes are basically going to be the leaders of these strike teams. And you see Kingdom Quake leading a group of 75th Rangers, and who have been flown in from Seattle. And he's like, "I got you. As soon as that field goes down, we'll take the monument. You guys got the rest."
Stay safe,
So-
Quakey.
Yeah, don't worry. Nothing could hurt me. Now, the rest of how do you want to approach going at this monument?
Give the bomb to me,
I think we need to
and
sneak in.
I can teleport right next to the monument and drop the bomb.
That sounds like a grand plan.
Okay. So are you going in covertly then?
I suggest covertly would be a good idea. Although perhaps someone would want to be some kind of distraction. I'll say looking at the guy in full metal.
Somebody
you'd
wearing
never
a lot of
ask.
armor.
I shall
could
march
take a
out and
punt.
declare myself and declare a challenge to whoever is their leader. And in that way, they'll all be looking at me, and Professor Kronos can get in and do the bomb thing.
Okay.
I will try and sneak in to provide cover to Professor Kronos because he could be
Excellent.
vulnerable while deploying the weapon.
Yes. How far can you shoot, old boy?
Yes.
Because I can teleport from quite a distance, so we do
I-
not have to be that close to the fray before we go in.
don't think my weapon technically has a range on it.
Yeah, there's a there are long range for a bow. So I mean, it's basically long range for a bow. You can imagine. I can look it up in a minute, but I mean, it's not like you're going to shoot across the city. So, and with the configuration, probably a city block, you could probably get an effective shot from.
Yeah, hundreds of meters.
Yes, yes. Probably 250 meters with your magical bow.
It is magical.
It is a magic bow. So, all right. So you gear up. Are you using the disguises as well, or are you just going to use stealth?
I am.
Okay.
I'm
Lodestar, are
using
you in
disguise
disguise?
and stealth.
Um,
You're
Steve.
muted, Steve.
you're muted.
Just thinking whether I help Lance, where I could sort of hide in the hide behind him actually, and help him, or whether I'd sneak in with Rod with Sherwood. So
If you're capable of stealth, I would suggest helping me because our primary mission is ensuring Kronos is successful.
so I can sneak in, although cameras and the like give me a slight problem. But yeah,
Are you going to use one of the uniforms?
Yeah, I'll put on a uniform and
They have like masks. I mean, you guys, the Hydra uniforms are like full body and they've got like face masks and things. So you're
Otherwise,
easily
you can't be a faceless
disguised.
goon.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I was just thinking about being bright pink might be a bit of a problem.
Well, it's 2:00 in the morning, 0200. So
yeah, true enough.
And
2
Professor
o'clock in the
Kronos,
morning in New York City, so anything goes.
That's true. That is a good point.
I won't be
That's
needing
okay.
the
That's
disguise.
7 a.m. at home. We're still good.
I won't be
Okay,
needing a disguise because I can teleport from about 1,000.
Do you have to see where you're teleporting?
That's what binoculars are for. 1,000 times their rank in spaces away.
Can I take some kind of like helmet cam so I can provide footage to Kronos in case he needs it?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You guys can link up on your HUD displays in your helmets. That actually would be standard issue for these Hydra guys anyway. So,
if I created a telepathic link with him, would I be able to direct him?
Absolutely,
I can teleport blind as well, just in case.
Oh, okay.
So
well,
not
we can
really an
provide
issue
you with like footage and.
All right, fine, cool.
Okay, so what's it look like then? So does the Eldritch Knight? So you guys are close to the monument at this point. We're going to fast forward. You've moved through the city. You guys are staged outside of the monument. It is lit up from floodlights. You see Hydra agents patrolling around the inside of the force field, unaware of what's happening. And then you guys see them actually start to get nervous and disrupted. And you hear over the chatter that other monuments are being hit and that they should go on high alert. And they're running around a little bit. They look distracted.
The Eldritch Knight looks at his watch. 2 a.m. Right.
Give us a slight head start, old bean.
I would imagine you'd already started making. I imagine we were probably already in position anyway.
Yeah.
So we'll try and slip in the confusion.
And because you're wearing their uniforms, you're able. You don't even have to roll. You just move in amongst them, and they do not appear to even give you a second glance.
Okay.
Until you all hear the noise as the Eldritch Knight just comes strolling. He almost makes his boots sound a bit heavier on the ground, the metal clang of his armor as he walks down the street. Hello there.
And you see a couple of these Hydra agents turn and put their weapons up, and they look a little nervous. This is something new. It hasn't happened since they've been here.
I'm here. I'm a noble knight, and I'm here to challenge whoever is your leader. I believe he goes by the name of Zemo or something along those lines.
You're whispering. You hear the whispering. You guys on the inside of the force field hear the. Should we call Baron Zemo and say there's somebody here challenging him? And this other guy with sergeant stripes on it says, "Are you out of your mind? You're going to call Baron Zemo because there's some asshat in armor on the other side of the force field calling him out? Do you know what Zemo does to people? You would be the one going on the outside of that force field to deal with this guy. So no, we're not going to call Baron Zemo. Just wave at the guy." And you, of course, didn't hear any of this, Eldritch Knight, but you do see this guy just sort of wave at you and look back at somebody else. He looks a little concerned.
Oh, you're answering the challenge. Come on in, good sir. Come on out.
He wants me to go out, Sarge. Listen, it's a force field. What is he going to do? Let him bang his head against it all night long if he wants to. Oh, yeah, that's right. Those of you on the inside of the force field, is there anything you want to do?
I'm going to try and get into position.
Okay. You're able to easily move around and get yourself sort of into a blind spot around the monument.
Yeah.
Like I said, everybody's a little distracted
Is
by
there
what's
anywhere
going on
elevated
and
I
the
can
Eldritch
get?
Knight.
So
Not really. It's a flat ground around here. I mean, you could get on top of a truck. That would be your most elevated position.
I think that's what I shall do if I get on top of a truck.
Okay, so you guys
Um,
are you're
for
able to
now.
get on side of what's basically a panel truck,
Yeah.
and you're on top of it. Again, everybody is currently focused on the Eldritch Knight standing outside of the force field, and the chatter on the radio. So
And
nobody's
just-
really paying attention to you.
Just
we
in
see-
case,
Baron Zemo at all?
No, you would assume that he is not at the monument. So the monument is outside of the convention center's entrance. Convention center is kind of behind you guys. You think once the force field for the monument goes down, you'd actually be able to get into the convention center. Now, obviously, all of you could just walk through because you've got those badges on. But the force field does extend normally, so it would cover the entrance to the convention center. You would assume he is in the bowels of the convention center where the portal is.
I'm going to cloak on top of the truck. So that's the that's the psychic cloak basically that clouds their minds. So if anyone uses a camera, then they'll see me on top of the truck.
can you use that on someone else?
Funnily enough, you can extend the power by
I'm just
buying
trying to give
it
you could
as
use it
well,
on
yeah.
me. Well, I'm over there, so they
potentially I
don't kill
could.
me.
Yeah, potentially I could if I get the cloak everyone power.
Ah, okay. Oh,
If you see what I mean.
Well,
So
if
there
you
is a
don't
sort
know.
of version of it where I
fair
can
enough.
So no.
cloak everybody. But
So no.
yeah, well, it
Okay.
would be a good one. Yeah.
Shall I?
Can I
shall
try and
begin my run?
identify a good hiding spot for Professor Kronos for his arrival?
I mean, the monument's pretty open, so
So there's
you
no like
could- you
crates
could-
or anything around. I'm just thinking
Not really.
any obscurity. Okay.
no, it's like they've set themselves up as a pretty well organized military unit here. So they've not allowed any blind spots or any areas where there's easy fighting positions if somebody would manage to breach the force field. But it's 2 a.m. The floodlights are pointing down and out, so there are areas of dark shadows. So there's definitely places that he could
Oh, okay.
teleport into
I will
near the
pick
monument.
darkest place, and then make sure I'm in a position to shoot the floodlights that are overlooking it.
Okay. So there's areas of darkness around the monument because most of the floodlights are pointed out because they want to make sure that they preserve their night vision and illuminate the area around. So there's areas of darkness you're able to easily point out to Professor Kronos. Before we get to Professor Kronos, what is the Eldritch Knight doing? As all of these people are now like they're coming close to the force field. Some of them sort of have their weapons up. They all obviously assume that there's no way you can get to them.
Okay, the Eldritch Knight will begin walking forwards. I'm warning you, champs. Once I come through that force field, it will get messy. Last chance, and he just slowly starts to walk. And he's like, "Kronos, I've got them distracted. If you're gonna go, go now."
And we shift over to Professor Kronos.
Go, go, go. So, whilst this great team that has done this fantastic bit of teamwork, one's making a distraction, one's, highlighted this position in the shadows that I can teleport to. We've got other distractions going on. I will take this device, I will teleport with it into the shadow right next to the monument, plant it, activate it, and wait for it to go.
Give me a logic test with an edge.
Okie doke.
It's a pretty easy roll.
Logic. Is it a non-combat roll?
Non-combat roll.
Cool.
.22. That's more than enough. So you're able
Excellent.
to sync the device. You get the field to line up. You activate the device, and then you all feel like your guts kind of go liquid for a second. You know, that hair stands up on your head, on the back of your neck. You feel kind of a coldness as the field shuts down and the whatever is powering, not only the force field comes down, but whatever is powering the monument, the power system's disengaged. Like basically it drains the battery out of this monument. So it can't just easily be powered back up. And as soon as you feel that, you hear Kingdom Quake bellow, and you see this mammoth form jumping towards the monument and jumping towards these now confused Hydra agents. And at the top of his arc, as he's starting to come down, he's like, "Go get Zemo. I'm going to have some fun." And he lands, making a giant crater around these Hydra agents. And he picks up two of these armored Hydra agents, one in each hand by the legs. And he just kind of starts using them as giant clubs as he smacks the other Hydra agents and AIM agents around, leaving you guys a clear entrance into the convention center. No one is focused on you any longer as Kingdom Quake turns these guys into some sort of puree.
I'm assuming we're all going inside.
Yes.
So you guys
Okay.
make your. Go ahead.
Sorry.
I was just going to say to Stu, I believe that's our cover. Should we go find Zemo
Yes.
and we'll start
Indeed.
heading
it.
towards the bowels of the convention center?
Excellent. So you guys are, like I said, in uniform. So no one's paying you any attention. They don't, you know.
The Eldritch Knight is not in uniform.
Yeah,
Well,
we wouldn't be
that's true.
waiting for you. We'd be just heading down.
And as you move out, you know, and as you head towards the bowels of the convention center, you guys have a layout. I mean, Fury gave you a layout, and an obvious location is dead in the center of the convention center, where there's normally a small auditorium, is the only place the portal could have been set up that would be large enough for them to move trucks and these monuments out. So you know where you're going. And as you move your way in, you see most of these Hydra agents and these soldiers and these armored Hydra agents are streaming past you because they're unaware, obviously, that they've been infiltrated, and they're being sent to the outer envelope of the convention center to set up basically a human shield because they've been notified that the force fields from all the monuments have gone down. So they know this is the next likely target. They're just unaware that you've already slipped behind their lines. And as you make your way deeper into the convention center, you get down towards the auditorium, and it is lit up like noon. It's like daylight in there, and you see multiple technicians are moving around this large piece of equipment. There's this giant arch, glowing arch that you recognize. It's got the same shimmering energy as the small portal that you guys fell through when you left your Earth. But this one is bounded by this giant machine. And down there on the floor near it, you see Baron Zemo himself in his typical red hood, wearing that small crown around his head, yelling at people, "Why are my force fields down? Do something." And you see agents and scientists running all around him. And flanking him on either side, you see two people who look similar to some of the people you've seen in the newsreels and some of the information you've been fed through osmosis. Somebody who looks very similar to a Dr. Octo Octavius, but he's in Hydra uniform, but he still has these telescoping, large mechanical arms coming off of a backpack or a spinal implant that he has. And then next to him, kind of crouched, you see another person, a very thin man in a sort of mechanical suit as well, with sort of like almost like a flight helmet with this clear visor, but metallic wings coming off of his back. And you just hear Baron Zemo say, "Octavius, Tombs, make sure nobody gets down to the machinery. We've got to keep this intact. I'm trying to open the portal fully so we can get reinforcements. Bronski's on the other side. I'm sure the Abomination can hold this if we can get him through in time." At that, let's go ahead and roll some initiative. Can you guys see your tokens on the
Yes.
screen now on the battle map? Okay, I'm going to take a real quick second to move these guys onto your layer, and then I will let me open up the initiative tracker first before you guys go crazy. I think I still have to clear it out from last time, and then we'll see how things go. All right. Okay, you guys. Okay, so I've got Eldritch Knight in, I've got Lodestar in. Sorry, Roll20 is going a little slow for me. I'm getting these guys up and running. Gives you a second. Now, they don't see you yet, but you are on the other side of, you're pretty far away. So there's still a chance you could potentially surprise them.
I got
Depending on how
a
you wanna
Marvel dice on mine.
Okay, so you're automatically going to be going in a surprise round, for want of a better word.
Yeah. Cool.
One more.
Roger, do you get a double edge on your initiative chests?
Yes.
You lucky duck.
I'm a fast boy.
Boy. A little squishy, but really fast.
Oh, I'm even more squishy, so.
All right, I think everybody has rolled, so we're going to go ahead and sort these. Now, were you the only one Lodestar who got a 1? Looks like it.
I think so, yeah.
Yep. Okay, so Lodestar, since you got a Marvel dice, that means you get to go. It's not really a surprise round per se, but you get a round all to yourself. You get your standard, you get your movement action, your standard action, and your reaction. If you want to use all of those,
Yeah.
what you see is, like I said, you guys are kind of at the top of like the seating that would go down into the auditorium. They're on the floor of the auditorium. None of them have seen you yet. You would be 2 full movement actions away from them unless you've got a way of moving particularly quickly. Like if you can fly or teleport, you could get there in 1 movement action. Otherwise, it would take you 2 movement actions if you want to do it quietly. Now, if you just want to charge down there, you can do that, but you will draw their attention and you will no longer have an opportunity for stealth for you or your team.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I shall levitate up and above, basically. So so I'm guessing it's sort of tiered seating, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like an amphitheater. So I'm going to sort of start where we are and just sort of go straight out, basically, levitating. So
Okay.
I'm going to be sort of hovering above the floor, if you like.
I like it. So as you move out, are you maintaining any other power? Are you cloaked?
I think I'm gonna maintain the cloak, basically.
Okay, so talk to us about cloak, so I make sure I understand.
Yeah. Okay. So cloak is a telepathy power. Basically, it's anyone up to 20 spaces per rank. So it's sort of 60 spaces
60,
for me.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine.
So yeah, it's quite a long way. I have to concentrate on it, and the idea is that they have to roll to spot against my logic defense.
Okay. So it's a vigilance check against your logic defense. So
correct.
you float out, maintaining these 2 powers. Now, because you guys are rank 3, you can concentrate on up to 3 powers at a time. So that's not an issue.
Okay.
Let's see if they notice you.
Okay.
Now, they're not looking for you, and they're distracted by other things. So I'm going to give them disadvantage on this.
Okay.
So we're going to roll. And what is your
my logic defense is 16.
16. Oh, so we're going to re-roll one of these 6s for trouble for him. Otherwise, he will notice you. And so you're going by. Zemo starts to glance up, but then glances back down at the control panel and misses you. See if Otto Octavius absolutely does not see you. He's fully focused on what Baron Zemo is doing. And then Adrian Toombs, aka Vulture, is scanning around, but he also does not notice you. So you're able to effortlessly float out and above them, floating above the machine. So that's you activated a power, which was your action, and you moved.
Yeah.
Is there any reaction you have that you want to take at this time?
No, actually, there's only the telepathic link really that I can do. So I think we're all right for the moment.
So that brings us to the top of round 1 and Sherwood.
Right. Do I know if the Eldritch Knight will be joining us shortly? Can I see him from where I am?
Yeah, I mean, he's coming right behind you guys. So, I mean, you guys are all there together. I'm not going to delay anybody's actions on this first round. So
I will basically sneak round to get a clear shot at Zemo because I really want to because he's our primary target. We need to capture him. So I want to basically get somewhere where I can get a clear shot without being spotted and try and knock him out very quickly. So Professor Kronos can swoop in and perform what we like to call the yoink maneuver.
The yoink maneuver. I like it. So so basically you're using your movement action to try to get the most ideal vantage point.
Yeah, exactly.
Give me a vigilance check.
Vigilance. Okay.
Non-combat. I just want to see how effective you are at finding this perfect shot. Marvel die. Okay.
13, but a Marvel.
You're good. You're good. So you line it up. You're certain. So I'm going to give you another edge on this. I think you already have an edge, possibly 2. So you have 3 edges on this shot. You have a clear, perfect shot at Zemo.
Are you shooting him?
What now? Okay. Sure. Yeah, I will.
Yeah, he's in range. He's in range of you. So
he's wearing a helmet, isn't he? So I can try and use that to knock
he's
him
wearing
out.
He's wearing a mask, but yes, I mean,
okay.
definitely...
I mean, can I fire like a blunt-headed arrow to kind of
absolutely? Knock him? Of course you can. You're
Excellent,
a magical archer. I'm not going to take that away from you.
Fantastic. Okay, yeah. In which case, I'm going to use.
You can even bounce it off the stair and hit him in the bottom of the jaw, and snap his neck back. You can do whatever you want. You're Robin frickin' Hood.
Hit him in the crotch. That'd disable him.
There you go.
No, I'm going to go for the KO.
I like it.
I'm going to activate. Is it combat trickery where I auto get a Marvel?
That is correct.
And sniper as well.
Perfect. So that'll make it triple damage.
And then I'm going to spend. What's the max focus you can spend to up damage?
15 now, isn't it?
15 at rank 3, yes. Yep.
15. Okie dokie, then I will spend another 15 focus on top of that.
Okay.
Oh, I already got a Marvel.
Oh, yeah. 22. Yeah, that exceeds his agility defense. So does a 24.
Oh, I was trying to get the ultimate success.
That would have been nice. Okay, so I don't
that's
think
43 plus 15, so 58 times 3 because I've activated sniper.
That's a lot of damage. And for everybody at home who's saying that he should be halving his edge, he has a magic bow that allows him to apply his entire amount of so it's not half for him. So I've seen it in the comments. Okay, so and that's non-lethal, right? You were going for a knockout.
I'm going for a KO here.
Okay. Now you guys are going to be surprised to hear that Baron Zemo does not have that many health points. So describe what it looks like as with one shot out of nowhere, you knock out the architect of this invasion.
So yeah, no, they wouldn't see it because I'm hiding in the shadows where obviously I was lining up my perfect shot, being sneaky. And then out of the blue, suddenly an arrow appears just at the moment anyone notices it from the whack. as it impacts with the back of his head, and you just see him tombstone over.
He just poleaxe. He just goes poof and sort of bounces a couple of times against the ground. You see Tombs and
Octavius.
you see, yeah, Octavius. Thank you so much. Old man mentality broke down there for a minute. Senility hit me. Their heads snap around. But they haven't seen you, and they didn't exactly see where the arrow came from either. They just see Zemo drop down.
Kronos, perform the yoink maneuver if you'd be so kind.
Can't teleport people.
Oh, balls.
So, do you have any reaction you would like to take at this point?
Not at the moment, no.
Okay. Which brings us around to Lodestar. You are floating above the machinery as you see, and from your vantage point, it's quite obvious. You see one of Sherwood's arrows smack Zemo in the back of the head and knock him completely out. In fact, you're fairly certain he has a concussion. You don't think he's going to be waking up for a while
Anytime
or
soon.
without medical attention, but he is definitely breathing.
Okay, in that case, I am going to lift his unconscious body and move it back towards the Eldritch Knight.
Okay, give me your logic test for your telekinesis.
Yeah, we combat.
Yes, this is combat. This is
combat. So yeah, okay.
Well, he is unconscious, so his defense is 10. So you successfully managed to lift him and pull him back. However, that act of doing it allows Dr. Octopus and the Vulture to sink in on you. But it's not their turn. So that's your action. You have a move action and a reaction left. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna move back towards. So I'm pulling Zemo along, and I shall move back myself.
So Zemo floats up towards you, and the both of you start levitating back towards the top rungs of the seats there.
Exactly.
Which then does bring us around to the Eldritch Knight.
Well, the Eldritch Knight sort of comes into the room because he was obviously outside because he wasn't in uniform, so he had to try to sneak in the old-fashioned way. And he's going to see Zemo being floated towards him, kind of figuring that Lodestar's either going to run off or he's going to be in front of everybody. So he's going to do exactly that. He's going to position himself. He's going to come forward. He's going to position himself between Zemo, Lodestar, and Octavius and Tombs, because I imagine they're a bit further down, so I'm probably not going to get to him straight away. And I'll probably just take a defensive stance and wait to get whacked on the head by something.
Okay. So we see you move in front as Lodestar's pulling back. One thing I'll tell you, Lodestar, as you're pulling back, you feel the portal because of your machine telepathy. You feel it start to power up. Whatever Zemo did was successful. So you only have moments to deal with that before reinforcements show up. Baron Zemo is unconscious, bringing us to Professor Kronos.
Kronos, shut it down.
Yeah, I was thinking shenanigans as well. Do I have a spare EMP bomb? If not, I will find alternative means of fucking shit up.
Yeah, I think it's completely reasonable that they would have not sent you out with a single point of failure on this most important and critical mission to save New York. So yes, I would say actually you probably have 3 in total per team, just in case.
So that's what I'll be doing. I'll be teleporting to behind the giant teleport ring thing, and I will be setting up a second EMP bomb to go kablooey. Okay,
so your movement action is to teleport down there. Give me a logic test with edge to set the EMP.
Okay. Let's do that.
21. Okay. Yeah. You get in there, you set it up, activate it.
Kaboom.
You feel once again, you feel that same liquid feeling in your guts. You feel the hair stand up on your neck, everybody. And then you feel this wave of energy. And then everything goes dark in here. The machines completely shut down. In addition to that, because they're not shielded,
All right.
the Vulture and Dr. Octopuses, because they're tech-reliant supervillains, their suits shut down and lock down, and they
Whoops.
just fall over.
Whoops.
And at that, you see the ceiling of the convention center crack open, and Kingdom Quake lands right next to you, dusts his hands off. He's like, reinforcements are coming in. Looks like you guys have this under control. You hear the sound of police sirens, and you hear the sounds of military units coming in. Then you see the Falcon fly down through that hole. And out of nowhere, you see Mr. Fantastic stretch down to the ground. And he looks right at you, Professor Kronos. He's like, sorry we're late to the show, but looks like you didn't need us after all. Glad to have you within our corporation. My name's Reed Richards.
Pleasure to meet you, old boy. I'm Dr. Kronos. Better
And at
late than
that-
never, old chum.
He goes, indeed, we were stuck in the negative zone. Once they started opening these portals, we couldn't get our own technology to open a portal back out. But once you shut this down permanently, we were able to get free. You're
Right.
heroes. And with that, we pull back. And a day passes, a week passes. All the monuments are taken down. PIM Technology and Stark Industries are in there looking at this tech, at all of this tech. You see Reed Richards working. Professor Kronos is there using his own temporal mechanics as you guys discuss this machinery. You see prisoners being marched out in Hydra uniform. We flash over and we see Baron Zemo in a cell being interrogated by Nick Fury and the Eldritch Knight. We shift further away and we see Kingdom Quake and Lodestar helping to repair some of the damage around the city using brute strength and telekinesis. Then perhaps 2 weeks later, there's a ticker tape parade through New York City. And across it, you see Operation Pendragon, the heroes of the day. And you're being feted and you're being partied and you're meeting with all the celebrities and you're given the key to the city. And for weeks after that, you're treated like the true heroes of New York City.
I will take the opportunity to flirt with Tony Stark.
And we'll definitely see where that goes, because you may see him again in season 2. But about a month has passed, and you know, the sites are still locked down, the technology is still being studied. When Nick Fury comes back to 4 Yancey Street, he's like, I have to say, when those time travelers told me that you were going to be the key to saving the multiverse, to saving New York City, I had my doubts, but I'm here to tell you, the next phase of the operation, we're almost ready to engage. I'm going to need you. I'm going to need all of you to go back to your own Earth, to Earth 56438, and help us figure out how to stop them from opening another portal from that side. But that is going to be an issue for another day as we return to the Cataclysm of Kang in the fall for season 2, as our heroes go to Earth 56438 to deal with whatever caused their Earth to turn evil and whatever caused them to bring the invasion to Earth 616. That is it for season 1 of the Cataclysm of Kang. I want to thank all of my players here and Jim, who could not be present today, for being wonderful sports, for helping me learn this system, for working through all of it with me. I had a great time running it. I hope you guys had a good time playing it. I hope anybody
definitely.
watching this
Really cool. Thank you.
enjoyed it as well. We will definitely be back for season 2 towards the end of the year. But for those of you who are fans of Warhammer Wednesday, very soon, Jim is going to be back in the seat that is his, running us through some more shenanigans in the old world as we return to our roots with some Warhammer very shortly. However, if you're interested in some more science fiction side of the house, please join Ben tomorrow at this same time for continuing season 3 of Dune and the Annals of House Dargouche. I so much regret that I cannot be playing in this campaign. I absolutely loved our beginnings of House Dargouche, but by God, work sometimes just will not let me free. So please join us tomorrow for that. I don't think we've got a game coming up next Tuesday, but definitely check out our Discord, Gartopia. You can see all of us there. Talk to us about the games. Tell me how bad I screwed up on Marvel. I'm there to hear it. Or you can tell us on the YouTube comments, because I always enjoy constructive criticism or non-constructive criticism. It always makes me smile regardless. But come check us out on the Discord. Check us out on YouTube. If you like what you see here, we've got a catalog of shows going back for years that you can check out. They're all very entertaining. Other than that, I've got nothing else to say. So if Millie is available to bring us out, I will say good night, Excelsior, and please continue to support Guard Black Games. We really enjoy doing these shows for you.